Hey besties, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So we have some new makeup products we're going to be testing out today. It's been a little minute since I sat down and tried out some new makeup products. I have so many goodies in front of me, so we're going to dive into it. So grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's just chill out and play with some new makeup. I don't have a new eyeshadow palette to play around with today, so I went through my eyeshadow palette collection and was like, what palette have I not used in a while that I need to get some use out of? I pulled out this palette from mcgrath. This is the Huetopian Dream palette. It is so gorgeous. I just want to do something really easy and simple. There aren't that many mattes in this palette, but I am going to start off with this chocolate brown shade right here. I haven't used this palette that often. I feel like, I don't even remember the last time I used this palette. But it is such a pretty palette. I just know there's not much depth you can get out of this one. This is the deepest shade that I'm using, and this is the depth that it's giving me. So, I forgot how easy and blendable Pat McGrath's mattes are. I'm gonna take a little bit of this little Dusty Rose shade, and I'm gonna plop this up here on the brow bone just to kind of blend those two colors together. This is the Sigma X Shayla tapered blending brush that I'm using, and I'm using it for literally this whole eye look, just about. Here's the fun part when it comes to Pat McGrath. So they have these really cool Astro Blitz kind of shades. I might could take a little bit of both of these, but I'm just gonna place this all on the lid. Oh, why is that so pretty? Like, that is stunning. I feel like I could have used a glitter glue with this one. I forgot how good this palette is. I'm reminded every single time why the hype on this is so real. I don't have a new foundation to try out, but I am gonna go in with my Makeup Forever H2 Skin Foundation. Same thing with primer, no new primer, so I'm just gonna go in with my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder in the shade Universal. Before we go into concealer, I like to apply my cream bronzer. So I have this one from Colourpop. This is their new bronze stick. I have mine in the shade Manhattan Beach. I think this is the deepest shade that they came out with, which is very disappointing because on me, I feel like it's a great shade. If someone has a deeper complexion, then I don't really know if this shade is going to work. So hopefully they extend the shade range because I feel like we definitely need a deeper shade past this one. It's blending in very easily. I feel like if you're a beginner to cream bronzer, you are going to love this and find that it's very easy to use. I really love the undertone of this bronzer, and I also really love how easily this blended in. All right, let's move on to this concealer. This retails for $29. If you've seen my Sephora haul, then you know how I feel about the shade range on this. I have been wearing this since I got it because I really have been wanting to test this out. And one of the things that I found with this concealer is that it really does crease on me. Not horribly, but there are other concealers in my collection that don't crease like this one. I feel like because the formula is so thin and hydrating, it just creases a lot faster. This is a featherweight buildable concealer that visibly smooths, brightens, and corrects under eyes with an undetectable real skin-like finish with up to a 24-hour wear. And it says it's medium coverage, but me personally, I found that it's kind of more on the lighter coverage side. I don't really get medium. I mean, you kind of, but not really. I got mine in the shade 4.0Y. So I am just going to apply this everywhere that I would put concealer. And the good thing about this formula is that it does stretch a long way. I'm still working with the first dip out of the container. Something that I found with this concealer is I've tried this concealer with a sponge, and I found that because this concealer is so lightweight, the sponge soaks up a lot of products. The best way that I found to apply this is with a concealer brush. I know that's not ideal for some people, but I feel like if you want the most coverage out of this concealer, a brush is going to give it to you. I know concealer brushes are so time consuming, but trust me, with concealers like this one, it's just, you're gonna get a better application. I'm also saving my under eyes for last because I want this concealer to dry down so I can get the most coverage out of it. One of the things I do like about this concealer is how easy this blends out. I have tried this concealer with so many different setting powders because I was like, well, maybe it's my setting powders that I'm using, but don't know, but just look at how pretty this looks. This looks so pretty. It feels so lightweight. I feel like this concealer also pairs really well with skin tints. So that's how I've been liking it, because it is more of like that lighter coverage concealer. Taking what's left on my bronzer brush and kind of just going over the edges just to kind of putting this back into the skin. Setting powder, I'm just gonna go in with my Ami Colé setting powder in the shade Translucent, because this is my favorite setting powder and I really love it. If you saw my last video, then you know that I've hauled a lot of new blushes. So I really do want to demo these Givenchy blushes for you guys, just so you can see how these look in the pigment in case you are curious about these. I also have these Makeup Forever blushes, which I'm most likely probably gonna have to go in with, but you're gonna see. So these are $43 blushes each. Yes, this is a high-end brand, so the price is definitely reflecting the name, but basically these are a 24-hour radiance loose blush. So they came out with 6 different shades. It says it's a 4-color loose powder blush that provides 12 hours of radiance and an instant pop of color. So basically it has 4 different shades in this one little container. And the idea is to pour some out into the cap and mix it together to get a custom shade. We're gonna see how it looks. So this is number 6. We're gonna just go with number 6 first. Now, I like loose blushes. I have the Jaclyn Cosmetics loose blushes, and I really, really love those. I'm gonna show you guys what number 6 looks like with one layer. I'm just using the Morphe X Ariel A22 brush. I love fluffy brushes like this because I feel like it disperses the blush so evenly. Also, these are very fragrant, but they smell so good. This is one layer of shade 6. It is very subtle. This is a buildable blush, so I am going to go in with a second layer. I just was expecting this to be, I don't know, I think I was expecting the shade to be different. I don't know if I realized that you don't really know what shade you're getting because you're mixing it all together, so it creates this shade right here. And when you're buying it, you don't really see the actual blush shade it's going to be. All you see is the 4 individual blush shades, so I didn't realize that. But I am going in with quite a bit. We have 2 layers right here. Now, I know for some people this might be enough, but for me personally, I like a more punchy blush. I don't feel like this blush is punchy enough for me. I do want to try this blush using it to set a cream blush. And this is a radiant blush, but it doesn't have like a glittery radiance to it. It just looks really beautiful, almost like glowy, but not super overly glowy. So this is 2 layers. I can go in with 3 layers, but ideally I don't want to have to go in with 3 layers with my blush. But here is layer number 3. Lots of blush I piled on, and I still feel like this is not enough for me. But it all depends on preference. I feel like if you're the kind of person that loves a more natural blush, you might really like these. Loose blush can get a little bit messy if you're not careful, but I don't really mind that. It's kind of the same as like using a loose setting powder, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, so that's shade number 6. Let's try out shade number 5 on this side, just so you guys can see it. I am gonna go in with the Makeup Forever blushes though, because I need a little bit more blush. Last time I wore this did not last very long on the skin. I was like, where did the blush go? And this is another shade where it's like layer number 2. This is another shade where I'm not really seeing it. Like, I'm building it up more and it's not really showing up like I would like it to. So I just feel like for me, these are not worth $43. I feel like these should have been a lot deeper to say that there's 6 shades in the line, because I don't know if this is gonna show up on a lot of different skin tones. Because for me, I mean, it's pretty, it's subtle, but that's like not my kind of vibe. If you really like a punchy blush, then I don't really recommend the Givenchy blushes. I would definitely recommend these more. I'm gonna take the Makeup Forever Limitless Berry Blush. I've really been liking this shade. I think this shade is so pretty, and look at this pigment. So I'm just going, girl, you do not need a lot of this. This is what I thought that the Givenchy blushes were going to give. But I feel like this is so pretty. Love, love, love. It's such a really pretty everyday kind of coral. I really wouldn't categorize this blush as berry because it's not really giving berry to me. It is buildable, so I like to build up my blushes just like that. Let's get into these new Sephora collection matte powder foundations. So I have two shades. I have the shade 30.5 and 44N. So I don't like to use powder foundation on their own. That's not me. I won't like it. It's just not my vibe. I like powder foundations to really brighten up under the eyes and add coverage. Also to help kind of smooth the under eye and the blush together, kind of make it blend better. And then I like to use a more skin tone shade to set the rest of the face, but also add coverage. So I'm taking the 30.5 shade. It is very pigmented. I'm just taking this under the eyes. It's just gonna help to give me a nice smooth transition between the under eye and the blush, as well as brighten. So that's what I like. It's a subtle difference, but trust me, it makes a difference. Now I'm taking the more skin tony shade, and I'm just gonna use this to kind of dust all over the face. As I feel so washed out, I'm gonna take a little bit of my Make Beauty bronzer. I have mine in the shade Stellar. And I'm just using this to bronze up the skin because it's looking a little bit dull. The skin is looking bronze. I'm loving how this is looking. For a little bit of highlighter, I'm just going to take my Dior highlighter palette and just put a little bit on the nose and on the cheeks because I do like a nice little subtle highlighted glow. So pretty. This is so pretty. I cannot get over this. For the lips, I'm just gonna take my Makeup by Mario lip liner in the shade Jeff. And then I'm gonna take my MAC lipstick in the shade Honey Love and pop this in the center. And just tap this in. This is one of my favorite nude combos. If you want like a more My Lips but better nude, Honey Love and a brown lip liner, girl. But you know, I can't stop there. I gotta go in with a gloss. So I'm gonna take this one from Colourpop. This is the clear. This gloss, oh, I love this gloss. It's so pretty. Anytime I go in with a clear gloss, I have to wipe off the applicator before dipping it back in here because I don't want to contaminate the product. Finish up the eyes. I'm going to go in with a little bit of a black liner. This is from Urban Decay in the shade Perversion. And then to finish up the eye look, I'm just going to go back into that brown shade in the Pat McGrath palette and use that to kind of run it along the lower lash line. The last product I have to try out is the new LYS setting spray. So this is $24. Say this is a lightweight setting spray that locks makeup into place while reducing the appearance of fine lines and skin texture with a soft matte finish. It has cucumber extract, green tea extract, and aloe leaf juice. Ooh, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Okay, I'm excited to try this out. This is gonna be a part of the wear test today. The packaging on this is so cute, or triangle-esque packaging, but let's test out the mister. Ooh, okay. It smells refreshing. That is a very fine mist. I like that, and it smells really refreshing. Wow, I cannot wait to see how this holds up. It's currently $2.45. I'm gonna wear this makeup for as long as possible and give you guys some check-ins throughout the day. So I'll see you guys in a few hours. All right, first check-in. It is now 5:33. It's been a couple of hours, but I just finished eating. That's why I have no lip on right now, but let's see how this is looking. This concealer, I've noticed that this concealer does crease. It's not super noticeable, but I feel like at this hour mark, there's other concealers that I use that don't crease as fast as this one. So that's just something to know. And I really feel like it's because it's such a thin formula. It really does sink into those lines. As far as the rest of my makeup, so far, I feel like this setting spray is doing something because the oils are still controlled. But of course, we're gonna continue this wear test and I'm gonna check in with you guys. Probably my next check-in will be my last check-in, but I'll see you guys in a couple more hours. Let's get into this final check-in. It is currently 8:30 and I am honestly ready to take this makeup off. This is usually around the time that I would take off my makeup. So I am oily around my brows, which I always get oily in my T-zone. That's always the first place where I get oily. My brows and my nose I feel like are oily, but the center of my T-zone I feel like is still going very strong. Now with this makeup Makeup Forever concealer, I have finally come to the conclusion that I don't think this concealer is for me because it does not wear very long. This is not a long-lasting concealer. I feel like it just emphasized a lot of texture everywhere that I put the concealer, especially under my eyes. And it did crease. Creasing has been a really big thing that I've noticed since trying this concealer. I also feel like it really does emphasize texture and kind of just like sinks into the skin, but not in a good way. When you first apply this concealer, it looks absolutely beautiful. I love how it looks initially, but it doesn't wear very well. And that for me is a big thing. I need it to wear better than what I feel like it's wearing now and what it's been wearing since I tried it. And the shade range on that concealer is very disappointing. I am very impressed with this setting spray. One of the things that it says is that it's supposed to blur, but I didn't really see that. I feel like this spray really did help to control my oils today. It's been about 7 hours and I feel like my makeup overall looks really good. And I'm shocked because I did not use my go-to sprays today. I didn't use my Urban Decay All-Nighter. I didn't use my MAC Fix Plus. The mister is very fine, which is really nice. It smells refreshing. I love the added skincare benefits in this spray. I really like this spray. I didn't know what to expect with this, but I'm really happy that I picked that up. As far as everything else that I've used today, besides the Givenchy blushes, I like the overall look that I was able to get today. I hope this video was helpful and I hope you all enjoyed it. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.